and I came from two countries who totally destroyed by war. I'm a Palestinian,
Yes.
born in Syria in a refugee camp for a Palestinian father and Syrian mother. My childhood is wonderful. If I have a time
Ah,
machine, I will go back and repeat my life. I'm not a victim. The Palestinian people never been victims. We are very proud people, and the only way to fight death is to make art or to write poetry or to do something. When you disappear from this planet, maybe somebody will remember you. It's all about death, I think. So I became very popular. The Iranian government, for I don't know which reason, they decide this 2019, they block my website. To save the
okay.
freedom is to fight back. I'm
Oh,
expecting that if the Syrian situation will be solved and the Palestinian occupation will be end, I think there will be war in Germany, and then I
oh.
will, yeah, where I live, or in Sweden where I have my citizenship. I don't like peace at all. I believe in justice and equality for everyone.
Today on How Did You podcast, we have with us Ghayath Almadhoun. Have I got your name right?
Yes.
And I believe in Arabic it is a little different. Could you tell us how it
Yeah,
is?
in Arabic is Ghayath, but like after I migrated to Sweden 2008, they write it with GH, so it's became Ghayath.
Okay.
I was annoyed in the beginning, but now I'm used to it. Yeah. No,
And does anyone get your name right as in the correct?
never, never, no.
No.
Like in general, in some poetry festival, when they try to introduce me, they say something totally different. So sometimes I didn't know that they mean me to go to
Oh,
the stage. Yeah, but yeah.
I see.
And this is part of our life, you know.
Okay, so we're starting with your name itself. And what does it mean?
The helper.
And through your poems, you've truly been a helper. If I say that, wouldn't that be right?
N-
Because.
Not really. I never thought about myself that a helper. I provoke. My poetry is really provoking because I reflect in my poetry. I reflect my memory, and I reflect my experience. And I came from two countries who totally destroyed by war. I'm a Palestinian,
Yes.
born in Syria in a refugee camp for a Palestinian father and Syrian mother. So in the moment I born, I lost Palestine, and then I lost Syria. So you understand, under the dictatorship. So I reflect my memory, my life, the death of my friends who got killed in Syria, and now I lost in this war 122 cousins killed by Israel. So when I write, I don't write exactly about that, but I write about me as a person who witnesses all this life, and I reflected in like a broken mirror reflecting this kind of horror. So my poetry in the end ended like as if it is love poetry, but in a shape of nightmares. So it's never been helper. It's always was provoking the people who try to be silent or to not notice or to pretend that they not notice that in this moment while we are speaking there is a genocide in Palestine, for example. And it's not something you could hide. A family like me, a family lost 122, a person like me who lost 122 cousins in 3.5 months. And I checked the last time 2 weeks ago. If I check now, it's more. And only think about it, 90% of them children, while Israel itself lost 36 child. So my family, a family, lost 3 times more than a country children. So it is obvious genocide, but people try to pretend that they didn't see.
Um, I
Yeah.
really don't know when I hear this. I mean, how much it must be affecting you. And you've also mentioned that nightmares have made you write. How did this all begin? How did this thing with writing begin? Why did you pick up the pen and start writing?
That is a really long time ago. I was a very young. I was a teenager, and I want to write like any teenager. I want to write a love poem for a lady I like.
Hmm.
In that time, and ended that I find myself stuck on this situation as a poet after like 30 years. But in the end, my poetry for some people considered to be a political poetry, but it's not political at all.
Yes.
Not at all. I always say it's not political, and what I write is not political. This is my life. Like everyone have the right to reflect his life. Like if I think about me, who grew up in Syria, and I lost my brother in the war. I lost my two uncles. I lost all my friends by Assad regime bombing in Syria. So as Pablo Neruda say in his poem, if I open the window and there were beautiful flower, very beautiful flower, and in front of it there is a dead body, I will not be able to write about the flower. You understand me? So in the moment I want to write like the rest of the poets in the world about everything, I always remember that there is also all the destruction happened in Syria, and I left Syria 3 years before the revolution, but for the same reason, I was running away from the dictatorship. And later on, I was a realistic person. I decided to be realistic. So I don't write about the war, but I really reflect my memories, and my memories and experience have a terrible things, really. Now, for example, if you think about Gaza, it's much easier for me compared with Syria because the people I lost in Gaza, these people I never met. Okay, it's trigger me, but the
Yes.
300 people I lost in Syria, these people I know, I grow up with them, is my brother, my uncles, my cousins, my friends. So it's totally different. The people I lose in Gaza is people I don't have a direct connection because everyone in the world allowed to go to Palestine, but not the Palestinian. And then in 2016, I became a Swedish citizen and I was able to visit Palestine, and I visited 5 times, but I was not able to go to Gaza because there is a siege around Gaza. So I visited everywhere in Palestine as a Swedish, but not Gaza. So the death of my cousins in Gaza is very difficult, but it's compared with Syria is a different way because I don't know them. I never met them. So for me, they are cousins, but artificially. I don't know how to describe it. Like I always update on my social media that the number of the death of my cousins. 2 weeks ago, I felt when we arrived to 122, I felt that they became numbers, and we are not numbers. So I decided to share their names. So I share the 122 names.
22
Yeah, yeah.
names.
I put them all.
And your poems, I mean, your poems have been made into radio plays, if
Yeah,
I'm
they do
right.
a lot of things from my poetry. I don't know why they do that because I don't participate. What artists do with my poetry or what musicians, I'm outside that. I don't involve myself. I write my poetry. If somebody finds it interesting to make anything, it's up to him.
The way you have portrayed your childhood is really very painful.
No, 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 no.
So,
My childhood is wonderful. If I have a time
ah,
machine, I will go back and repeat my life. I'm not a victim. The Palestinian people never been victims. We are very proud people. We lost our country because of the European racism. They were killing the Jewish. They make the Holocaust. The Jewish want to survive. They come to take our land, and England and Germany and all these countries give our land to the Jewish to survive. So we lost our countries because of the white supremacy and the Nazis and the Holocaust. But in the same time, we are not victims. We are very proud people. We're enjoying our life, and we will fight back until we got back our rights and our country.
so tell us about, if as you say, tell us about your childhood.
It
How?
was a wonderful child. I grew up in Damascus, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. My mother is Syrian from Daraa, my father from Gaza. I have a wonderful life like most of the Palestinian. We enjoy it. We don't. Even the people in Gaza, they really enjoy their life. It's a wonderful life. You can't, and there's no way to break the Palestinian. We are the only nation in the world when we were totally smashed, we make intifada. It's a fight by stone.
Oh,
Like, yeah, we fight. We fight. If they took the stone, we will spit on them. I don't know, but we will fight.
okay.
Believe me, yeah.
And so at some point of time, you realized that poems, like you said, you would want to write for your lady love, and then ultimately your poems took a different turn.
No, not
So,
not really like that. My poems until now they are poems, but my dictionary is came from war and destruction and dictatorship and so yeah. So the dictionary I use is really problematic. So yeah, but every poem I write, if you take a deep look, it's a love poem, love poem. Yeah, but in general, also my poetry is weird also because I do experimental things. I visited places. I wrote about them. I go to uh, war fields, historical places, museums, and I try to involve everything in one type. So it could be a love You could read a love poem, but you could got a lot of physics and mathematics information. So I have this weird way of writing poetry.
But why poems? Why not something else? Why did you stick
Yeah.
on to poems?
I really like, I was doing some journalism until 2007, 2008. But then I was so annoyed why every person in the world do his job, but poets should do something else, like writing articles, critique, essays, teaching, because poetry didn't make money. It's not a way to survive. And I was annoyed by this, and I decided in 2008 that I will stop doing anything, no articles anymore, no essays. I will write only poetry, even if I will starve to death.
Oh,
And I'm very stubborn person, and I don't have children, so they can cry, and yeah, so I don't care. So for 17 years until now, I didn't do anything else. I only write poetry in Arabic. Now the situation became little different after the 7th of October, and the war began. The Western world began to boycott the Palestinians, silencing them. So we are totally boycotted. They canceled hundreds of events and exhibitions and book release and music and films for Palestinian or people who pro-Palestine or Jewish who say ceasefire or like this. We documented all that. We have a big document, especially in the democracy this happened in Europe. But yeah, we don't know how we will pay our bills soon if they continue this boycott. But in the end, this is the only way to save the
right.
freedom is to fight back,
Yes.
because I'm really professional how to fight canceling and silencing in dictatorship. I grew up in Syria, but I don't know how to fight canceling and silencing in democracy. This has never happened to me before. So to be in Germany and at the same time you're not allowed to speak,
To speak.
this is really something new for me, but will figure out how to fight back.
There's been a lot of pain on and off. So, how is the birth of a poem in your mind? How does it come about?
In general, I'm a professional, so it is like my work. It's not like it's not like in the beginning, people wait for an idea. No, no. Now I'm a professional. I rewrite and rewrite. You understand me? So it's like a job. Some part of the poem I took it out and build it in a new poem. Some lines I put it in another poem. It's not like the old way of writing anymore. For me now, the editing and the rewriting is very important for writer. So now I am conscious about what I want to write, how I say it, and there's in the Arabic language, the one I write in, the Arabic language is it's a huge language, and it's you could say the things in many different way. Many, like I can't describe how big is it. I promise for you, it's much bigger than any language. It's much bigger than English. We have like words, like we have sometimes hundreds words for the same things.
Same thing.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating.
Uh-huh.
So it's a poetic language, and it's made for poetry. So I enjoy to work on that and play with this language. But in the same time, I write very postmodern poetry. It's not a classic, even if I am able to say the Arabic sonnets, the classic one, at any time. Yeah. But yeah, so in these days, I write, I publish a small book every 6 years, 5 6 years, very small book. It's have like couple of thousands of words, maybe 6,000 words. So if you cut the 6,000 words in 6 years, which is like 1,800 day, it will appear that I write one word every couple of. So officially, I do nothing. Okay, now you know.
And you've been talking about Arabic as such a beautiful and a vast language. So your poems have been translated as well. So do
Yeah.
you feel that the essence has been conveyed through the translations,
No,
or is
not
there a
at all.
lot missing?
No way. I read like that. Most of the language I'm translated into, I can't read, not at all.
Oh,
But English and Swedish, I can. And yes, they do a great job. They say exactly what I say. And if there's something mistaken, I correct it. But it's not my poems.
you don't
Not
feel
at
an
all. No, 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 no,
attachment?
no. There's not even one single word in my English book written by me. It's
Ah,
all written by my translator, because what I wrote is another words in another language. We should be conscious about that. My poems in English, they are not my poems. Even if everything inside them, I say it, but it's not. Because when you translate them, there's something missing, and these missing things is huge.
Is
It's
that the
related to
soul of?
history, to memories, to the music of itself, to the dead metaphors, to the way we think as a group, to our jokes, to our black jokes, to our dreams. It's all missing. It's not exist anymore. So the only way to understand each other is to translate each other. But that doesn't mean that it's work. It didn't. But we need it. And also it's good for the money, so it's bring more money for me, yeah, so it's okay.
So I would say it actually robs the soul of the poem.
It's not a poem, it's a rewriting.
It's
This is a
something
new poem.
different.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
And what would if I were to ask you, your legacy as a poet, what would it be? What do you think that you're going to leave back as a legacy?
I don't know. I think all the artists they do art because they are afraid from death. Because there is no eternity and everyone want to continue alive. And the only way to fight death is to make art or to write poetry or to do something. When you disappear from this planet, maybe somebody will remember you. It's all about death, I think. I think our civilization is a very problematic civilization. It's very short period. It's only 10,000 years ago when we began to farm, I think, and a couple of thousand years ago when we began to have alphabet in our region in the Middle East. So we are new, like I don't know, but like 200,000 years ago, we were monkeys on the trees fighting for bananas. Let's be honest. This is the
True.
situation. So our civilization is still in the beginning, and we began to have the evidence of destruction. So I don't know how it is, but I believe that the art is the way, it is the only way that when another species in the future will study the earth and will study us as some kind of species called Homo sapien lived 2 million years ago, or I don't know, the only way to study us they will find is through our art.
Through our words and our
Art,
art.
yeah, and
Yes.
included, of course, artists mean poetry, painting, yeah,
Everything.
I think.
And tell us about, at some point of time, after you've written your poems and they've been published, and people have come to you and said, okay, this has made a profound impact on me. There must have been definitely instances. So could you share any one of them where you were a little maybe taken aback or surprised or shocked by something someone told you regarding your work?
Yeah, it's happened a lot of different reactions. Some people hate me so much actually because they pro Israel
Oh,
or like they hate Arabs because they ended the Persian Empire or because they come to steal their jobs in Europe or I don't know what. Like everyone have his own issue, but in the end, like the reaction of poetry is not what I write. To gain. Like I'm writing poetry because I really enjoy writing poetry. I really do. So it's so great to work in something you really enjoy. Could you imagine you are working in an office and you hate it so much? It's terrible, yes?
yes.
No, no, I work with something I really love. I love poetry and I love writing poetry and I do that. So
Yes.
like so what reaction, what will happen later, who will publish it, what people say about it, that is bonus. Like it's come later,
No,
right?
but any particular instance where you felt that why did so and so say like this, or why did this particular person approach me and speak that way?
I don't
Anything
know,
like
but like,
that?
yeah, there's many. I can't give one example. It's hundreds, but like sometimes I got a very strange reaction. Like I was going, getting a lot of reaction from Iran, a lot of reaction from Iran, and all in Persian in my email, in my social media, and translating them. And then I discovered that I have book in Iran.
Oh.
They publish me without they inform me. Like I discovered that I'm very known in Iran. I have a book published without my knowledge. So yeah, and some people like me and some people hate me. But the most strange things that this book became so popular to the level that the Iranian government decided to block my website. Yes, and deleted many of my stuff on Google, and all this happened without my knowledge.
Oh,
Yes, so I became very popular. The Iranian government, for I don't know which reason, they decide this 2019 they block my website until now. If you are in Iran, you try to Google me, you got so little result, and my website is blocked. And could you imagine all this story happened without my knowledge?
Oh my God, that's the highlight, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
you know.
yes.
You were totally unaware of the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we've been talking about different countries. So tell us about your experience in India. How do you think Indians are accepting you or rejecting you? Is it a love-hate
No,
relationship? How is it?
why I love Indians. Indian love me. It's really like because we share like so. I love Indian food. Let's begin with this, okay? So I love Indian food so much, and in Europe we have all this fake Indian food because they make it for tourists. It's not spicy or like this. And in 2020. I was invited, and I was so happy that I will come to India. And of course, I don't know if you hear about something called COVID-19.
Yes.
Did you hear
Oh my
about it?
God, of course, we all know about
I
it.
know you know. I'm kidding only. So because of that, my reading was through Zoom, and I hate it so much. Instead of being in India, in the wonderful weather, meeting the people, having great food, I was sitting in Berlin in very dark, icy situation, reading poetry through Zoom. I was imagine all these people like pretend that they listen to me, but they make it silent. Maybe it was terrible, like for me. Yeah. So from that moment, I was so angry, like because of COVID. One of the most things make me angry about COVID that I was not able to come to India.
Oh.
Yes, exactly. So when I got the chance, now I was very happy. I'm so glad to be that the gate for my visit to India for the first time was Kerala, like because I heard a lot about it. But yeah, I'm not surprised by the food, by the way, because I have a lot of friends and they invite me to their houses, so I was familiar with how great the food. Also, the generosity of the people. I don't know how to describe it, but I never see people more generous and polite than Indian. Like they are really the most welcoming people I saw in my life. I hope, I wish for them the best in everything.
Oh, that's
Really, really.
such a beautiful
Yeah,
thought.
but it is part of the culture, as you know. You could see it.
So throw away Van Gogh's Starry Sky and bring on the severed ear. Throw away Picasso's Guernica and bring on the real Guernica with its smell of fresh blood. We need these things now. We need them to begin the celebration. So these
Yeah.
lines are very thought-provoking. So what made you write them? What were you thinking when you were writing?
Yeah, this poem, the details from 2012, and in that year, 1 year after the Syrian revolution, the Assad regime was killing the people still in that time by snipers in the demonstration before he began to bomb the whole Syria. In that time, I lost a lot of people by bullets, and I was thinking about how the Western world was taking this and how under the table in a way they were dealing with Assad regime. So I always see the paradox of the white supremacy that it is the motivation behind the mostly the Western civilization. Western civilization is so lighted by art, by music, by literature, by technology they have. The light is so strong, you are not able to see the margins. It's like if you are in a light room, it's so difficult to see outside because the light is strong. So they invent a way of dealing with this by making somehow double standard. So the death of an Israeli is more important than the death of Palestinian. So, for example, now we have 13,000 children got killed in Gaza, and there's 4,000 children under the cement, under the rubble. So 17,000 children. But none of the European country did even ask for a ceasefire. You understand? So it's
Yes.
a real double standard. And from that moment, I began to choose the things I like from the white civilization, the Western civilization, and throw what I don't like. So I say for them, give me and take. I remind them of all the bad things, like the Crystal Night, the Guernica, like all this to say for them that your civilization, it's a very problematic. It's have a colonialism history. It's have the occupation, the slavery, as you know what they did in
The list
India.
is endless.
Yeah, like how they did in this big continent we call India, how they cut it to 3 countries, how they steal everything. Like one of the reports I read long time ago about Bangladesh, for example, it say it is one of the most rich areas in this planet. They took it all, they steal it, they suck the blood of it, and now Bangladesh is not a rich country. So this is you should see the other side of the Western civilization. When you have hot water in the douche in Stockholm, it is because there is somebody either have cold water or didn't have water at all. Yeah, if you think about country like Holland, is a very small country and have nothing. It's one of the most rich countries in the world because it's occupied Congo. It's like occupied, Belgium occupy Congo and Holland occupy Indonesia. Like Indonesia is 17,000 island, one of the biggest countries in the world. They steal it totally. Before they leave, they put cement in the pipes so the people in Indonesia will not be able to use them. They demolish the houses before they leave. So no one could gain. And so you can't forget these things. So when I write a poem like this, it's only to remind them that, yes, I am in Europe, I pay tax in Europe, but we don't forget your history.
And is there an anger simmering deep inside you, when you write this? Because when you see so much, when you feel so much, I believe that would be there. Am I right in saying that? And is that translated into your poetry?
Like anger, I don't know. But if there is an anger, I will not throw it on my friends and my family. I will throw it in my enemies, if it's. But no, I prefer to solve the things by discussions and by prove for the people our rights through our ideas. Yeah, maybe if I have an anger, I could throw it outside in a sport I play or something.
So definitely the pen is mightier than the sword, I
No,
guess.
no,
No
I
doubt.
I meet a lot of Israeli, a lot of like who consider themselves enemies or who didn't accepted me as even human.
Oh,
But I say what I believe in, and I could provoke them, challenging their ideas of reality. But yeah, I'm not the person who could be in fight.
not possible.
No, I'm not. I'm not good for that.
Because ultimately your poems also deal with love, somewhere, as
They
you
are
said.
really, yeah, but they are really very trouble.
Yes.
I don't know. They are very problematic. Let's say, yeah, yeah.
So, in a place like Palestine, there's so much going on there. So, do you think that your poetry could actually create a change? Like earlier we said, leaving a legacy or leaving an indelible mark. What is your take on that?
No, I don't think so. I'm not romantic person, and I'm very realistic. I don't think poetry work in this way. The mechanism of poetry, the poetry could change people, individuals. And these people, some of them will be in a position, in a high position, in a power, will change the world, will change the situation. So our effect is on individuals. So I need to change your mentality if I succeed, if I can. And then maybe in the future, you will learn your children something. So I put the effect on you. This is not more than that. But it's not like that poetry are able to make a coup in country, no.
But it's a trickling effect that will definitely make a
I
dent.
hope.
Yes.
I hope that poetry will have more effect on people. But yes, the effect is on individual. I notice that. I know that. I know that I was able to change some people.
Can you share any instance where you've changed, where you felt you've changed a person? Somebody came and told you, or something like that?
Yeah, I know many people who now they believe in
The cause.
not only about political things. Now I know some people they began to love food.
Ah,
Yeah, I know some people who were against art. Now they like art more. They go to museum. I know a lady who is supporting Palestine now. She was a Zionist,
ah.
and now she's not anymore in this time of war. She's pro-Palestine, and she go to demonstrations. She's German. So yeah, people and yeah, why I say that because she wrote for me long letter, and she say that this happened because of my poetry.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not all about politics because I use art a lot in my and food and physics, as I told you in my yeah. So
So it just goes to show how convincing your poetry is. You just need to
yeah,
understand the essence of it.
yeah, and I don't believe also in tolerance. I'm really against the tolerant. Like I don't want you to be tolerant with me. We should be equal.
Equal.
I believe in equality. Everyone should have equal rights.
It's been Syria, and then after that, now, as we know, Gaza. So, after all this gets over, definitely there's going to be a silver lining. So, when this gets over, will you be writing more about?
I'm expecting that if the Syrian situation will be solved and the Palestinian occupation will be end, I think there will be war in Germany, and then I
Oh,
will, where I live, or in Sweden, where I have my citizenship, and I will be affected by that, writing about that, maybe. I don't know.
but then won't it be at some point of time when there's full, all complete
That's
peace?
never happened. And also, most of the poets, they have surrounded by wars and political things and feminism questions, but they didn't write about it, and they have the freedom to do that. I myself, I can't be isolated from reality. I can't cover my eyes from these things. So everyone have the freedom, but I think it is not about wars. I never wrote about wars. If you read my poem, they are not about wars. It's about the feelings of
Feelings.
us as humans.
Okay. So the feelings that will dominate maybe will be what all you went through and what
Maybe,
all you saw and felt.
maybe. I don't know, but I do my best to improve my writing.
Yes, and when there's a point, maybe when there's complete peace and happiness, if there will be,
Yeah.
we can expect you to write about
I
that
really
as well.
don't believe in peace. I don't like peace at all. I believe in justice and equality for everyone. But peace for me, this is like a romantic idea. What is peace? It's not exist even in nature. Animals eat each other. No. This for me, it's totally. I don't want this kind of world where there is peace. No, I am against that. I want to see the people are equal in front of the law, have the same rights. And I don't believe in integration. I live in multicultures, diversities, cosmopolitan. Everyone have his own culture. We share all this together.
So, who has inspired you or
Oh,
who has
a lot. Like I
influenced
can,
you?
yeah, a lot. Every Arabic poet, every poet in the world was in, like really a lot. Like I can't count.
So,
Every poem I read, every piece of art. I'm really affected a lot by art. So most of things I got inside me, it's either by art or by music. I go to a lot of culture event where there's discussions. A lot of my knowledge come from the discussion and the debate between artists and like this. So yeah, I'm really affected by art so much. Sometimes I steal ideas, but from paints. But I don't know how to describe that. You couldn't figure that they are part of the poem. But yes, there is no person, there is no group or school. I'm really affected by art, from India to China to Latin America to the Arabic. Like art is art for me.
so it's not just one person, it's so
No.
many
For
people.
example, the Indian artist Anish Kapoor, I wrote a poem for his exhibition in 2017 in Bruxelles, in Buzar. He make the mountains, and and Anish Kapoor is a really big, gigantic artist, and I wrote this text as introduction for his art exhibition in Buzar. And yeah, so the art is it's not related to nations and backgrounds. Art is art. So art
You
and
love pain.
yeah, it's not. I love to see or to have the pain, but I understand it is the back. How I would describe like this.
Is it from pain that art comes for
No,
you?
no, no, no. I
No.
don't. That is a very classic. I say like you can't understand this planet in the way we are in it without understand the paradox that make us what we are. For example, I really hate the Israeli occupation. 100%. I don't want to give credit to them. But without Israel occupy Palestine and throw my family outside Palestine and they ended in Syria, my father will never meet my Syrian mother and I will not be exist. So I really am not, I'm really against the pain totally. But I am exist because of the occupation.
So you cannot deny it. It is existent. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
it is
yeah,
there.
but I don't give credit to it because also many of the Jewish who born in Israel, born because of the Holocaust, their grandmother died, their grandfather meet another woman, in another place because of the Holocaust, and they got born. So we are in the end result of this.
All this.
Yeah. Think about this huge continent was India. Now it's like 3 countries. People moved here and there, and destinies of people changed. So you are here and I'm here. It is because something political happened because of the English occupation of India. Yeah,
True.
it's true. Yeah.
So, well, it's been absolutely wonderful
Oh,
having
thank
you
you.
here with with us on How Did You podcast.
Yes, thank you.
And at the end of this, we've been talking about so many things across different spheres. So, if I would ask you to just say it in one sentence or maybe in a few sentences, how did you, is my question, do whatever you did in your life? So, how did you?
I think it's oh, this is really difficult. I can't say it in one line, but I think the best things I did in my life was that I wrote 30 years ago a poem for a girl I liked, and take me after 30 years to stand here in front of you and speaking about this.
So that was the first. That was the first point where it started,
I
right?
think yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. And yes, I'm sure, the whole journey after that, our audience
Yeah.
would love to
Yeah,
know
if that
about it.
moment didn't happen, we will not be sitting here.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly.
So, yes, now I think I get a slight inkling of your poems and of where love plays a part
Yeah.
there. Now I do understand. So, definitely our audience would love to know more about this. And for that, all they have to do is tune into How Did You podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Have a nice day.